Hello, and welcome to Dragons and Dresses Craftsodium. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Lady April. And we're going to go to a masquerade ball today. And with the masquerade ball, there's always murder, especially on a Valentine's masquerade ball. Okay, yeah, that's enough of that. So what I've done so far is I have etched the mask and I have covered it with UV. Just rubbed it on there because I need to add some sparkle to it because, it's not something I made without a little bit of sparkle. But April, it's not bloody. Oh, but just wait, because it will be. I'll be showing you how I make my blood drops, and then we will attach them. Gotta make sure that it's on everywhere though. Okay, now that that's covered, again, we're going to coat it with a little bit, all right, maybe a lot of it, that's why I put this down, of the fairy dust. Because I don't want it white. Just going to pat it down to make sure that it gets on there. I don't necessarily need to burnish it in, I just want to pat it. Any missing spots, as you can see, I'm just picking it up off the paper and retapping it. You can do another coat if you want. That's completely up to you. I'm going to cover this to seal it in because, I don't want glitter going everywhere all the time because my house is already a glitter haven. Anyone that comes to my house knows they're going to leave with glitter on them. Let's see. How's that look? How does that look, everyone? Okay, let me go ahead and cover that while the paper is down. Or cure that, and then I'll be right back. Now that I've given it a quick cure of a minute, I'm just going to rub it a little bit just to get all the loose stuff off. See if I need to put any more anywhere else. I see a couple of little spots right here. So what I'll do is I'll take a little bit over here on the side. Just a little drop, a little dab will do you. Cover those spots, just rub it in a little bit. Cover a little bit more. Leather and silk in a symphony clash, creating beauty from a chaotic stash. Not just colors, but if you hold it up to the light, you can see where you need to add more. I'm going to go ahead, I'm not going to bore you and keep you watching me here. I'm just going to go ahead and get this done, and then I'll be back. Okay, now that that's dry, or cured rather, I'm going to take and brush off all the excess. And then put a thin coat over the top, just plain clear. She's the crafter of dreams, both weird and wild, in a world where chaos is more than mild. Put this back in my container and be right back. Okay, now let's put a really thin coat over this to seal it in. And I'm going to change my gloves after this because they have glitter everywhere. And eventually I will put this on a stick so I can hang it on the wall. So I think it's going to turn out cool. Well, I hope it's going to turn out cool. You know I love my blood and guts and gore. Okay, I'll be back in a flash. Okay, now that that's secured and it's not tacky anywhere, which is good, we're going to go ahead and make some blood droplets. Alright, we're going to get that started, and all you need is some fishing line, UV pigment, not alcohol ink. Alcohol ink fades. Pigment does not fade. Well, it does, but not as quickly as alcohol ink. And I mix ruby and garnet to create my blood color. Alright, we'll get that. I'm going to cut a few pieces of this and we'll get started with that. Okay, so here we go. We're going to be doing this in thin layers, and we're going to dip it and cure it, dip it, cure it, dip it, cure it to make the blood droplets. And I learned that from Krei Art, K-R-E-I. And we're going to be using monofilament here. Well, I am. You may not, but I am. And if I can clear it up here, you can see what it is. It's 10 pound with 1,400 yards. It was like $8 or something like that at the Walmart. I cut a section of it here so that I can use both ends of it. And we're going to set that off to the side. I've cut several pieces already, so. Alright, this is already ready. Let me get my UV. I'm using J Diction today. And put some in there. I transferred it some to a smaller bottle because it's easier to manage when it's full. And I'll be using this ruby color. There you go. That's the brand name, and I'll link it below if I can find the link, and the garnet. And I'll start out with using equal parts. So we'll start out with the garnet. A couple of drops of it. Let's see, no, 2. Okay, now we'll go with the ruby. 1 and 2. Okay, now when I mix it up, if I use a wooden one, I start with the clear portion first to coat the stick so that it doesn't soak up all of the resin color. I mean the pigment color, because it kind of wastes it that way and you don't get all of the color saturation. So let me give this a good stir. Oh, it's looking cool. I don't know. Let me see. Let me test a little bit on the side over here. I don't know how well you can see it. Well, you can't see it with the black. It's still see-through. It is a transparent. These are transparent epoxy and resin pigments. A little bit more ruby. Mix it up again. I'll just faff with this for a little while. Oh, that's looking better. And it even drips like blood. Look at that. Oh, that's much better. What do you think? I think it is. Okay, now we're going to start this with, I have a nail curing light here for instant curing. I got it from Timo. If I can find the link, I'll put it below. And I'm just taking a little bit off my stick and putting it on the very end. You have to start small. You got to work your way up, so this is time consuming. And then you cure it. And if you cure it while it's dripping down, you get lots of little droplets too, as you can see. Well, maybe. You'll be able to see in a minute. Alright, I'm going to continue to do this one layer at a time, and I'll speed this part up. Now after all of those dips, this is what we have accomplished. Let me see if I can get it to where you can see it. There we go. It's not completely dry yet, or cured rather, but that's what it looks like so far, and it looks like an actual blood drop in motion. To me it does anyway. Okay, we're going to do this several more times, and I'm going to cure it. Once I get this cured with the light, I'm going to cure it in the big UV for 3 minutes. And then we'll move on to the next one. There's another way to do this, and the other way is with bead. So I have a red glass bead here, as you can see. You can use glass, plastic, it doesn't matter, but this one has a hole in it, so I'm going to put a little bit of UV down in the hole, and then, well, once I can figure out how to do it, and there we go, and then I'm going to stick the end of the line down in the hole and cure it in place. Let's see where you can see it. There we go. Zoom in a little so you can actually see what I'm doing. There you go. Now we can see. Okay, so there's a hole there. I'm going to stick the line in there and cure it. And now that that's cured, we're going to turn it over and put a little drop of UV on the bottom and cure it from the bottom too, so that it doesn't slide out the top when I go to dip it. And here's a close-up of how I can dip this into the UV resin, and as it dries it'll give it a little bit better look to it because it'll have a drip coming off the bottom as well, and you'll see that in the end results. Dip it and cure it. Now that that's cured a little bit, you can see that it has an oblong shape now because it has that drip look to it, so the force of gravity will have that coming down as well. Kind of make it look lifelike or blood-like. And here's that result. It has that nice point at the bottom like a drip. So to cure them, I turn my UV double-sided light on its side, but you have to make sure that those connectors are all the right way so that both sides light up. And I hang it over a paintbrush and I just let it sit there while I do the next set. And it cures it great. And I'd set it for 5 minutes so I have time to do the next ones. I'll see you when they're all done. Now that I've made all of my pieces on the fishing line and the pieces that I have here to attach to the bottom, I'm going to go ahead and add them, but at first I'm going to add some blood drops on here and cure them instantly with my torch here, my rechargeable, because I want it to run. So I drip a little, cure it in place as it's dripping. And if you have any places that haven't cured quite as good with the glitter on it, then you can easily cover that up. I'll fast forward this part here, but I'll show you all of my drips and drops and drippity drips. Okay, now that I've got all those on there and they're set in place, I'm going to go ahead and cure it and clean this mess up once it's cured. Okay, I'll see you guys when I get all cleaned up and ready for the next step. Okay, so for next steps, I'm just going to leave that on there because it adds to the ambiance. Plus, I'm going to use my polymer clay blade, and I'm going to scrape them all off and keep them because these could make great little blood things for something else, because it's the perfect color, and I still have some left. Okay, so the next steps are we attach all of these things here. How are we going to do that, you say? Very carefully. So the very middle one will be, or on one side, it will be the heart. And I want it to be hanging pretty low. You can either do it underneath, but that would rub on the face if you do plan to wear it, or you can just do it to the top, because I am going to cover the top of this once I get done. So I'm going to do it on the top, and I'm going to hang that down. I'm going to put a little drop over here and use a old paintbrush that the end is all yucky on it, which I'm going to cut off anyway, but it helps me remind me which one to use. You really don't throw anything away in crafting, do you? Twisting reality with every stitch and tie, a dragon's heart and an artist's eye. And I can always cut the extra off on the line that I've used, silk in a symphony clash, creating just to hold it in place. Okay, next not just colors but techniques abound in her fiery. Now I put two on each end, as you know, and you can run it along and let them hang down like that, or you can do it in one spot and let them hang at different angles, which I think that might be the best way. For this part, this I can just dip in a little dot, hold it there, hold it where I want it, and secure it in place. Just long enough for it to hang. Alright, I'm going to fast forward. You don't need me to explain every single one of these to you, so I'm going to fast forward so you can watch me do them all. Alright, I'll see you when it's done. Both weird and wild in a world where chaos is more than mild. From thread to bone in her magic spire, her eclectic work set the heart on fire. Okay, now that we have all of those on there, I'm going to go ahead and put these to cover up where the fishing line is attached. And to do that, I'm just going to put some UV. I'm trying to use what I have on the table first, that I have left over. I don't necessarily need the drops, the drips rather. Sorry about that, didn't mean to hit the camera. Again. Oh goody, I think I got UV on it. And I made these thin and I didn't cure them completely, just so that I can bend them if I needed to. And they fit pretty good in here. On here rather. Right? Secure this a little section at a time so it sticks down. And you hit that really good so I don't get UV everywhere. Okay. And you can still see the glitter and the glitz behind it. down while it's curing. We'll add a finishing touch at the end. Okay, there's that one. Don't forget to check out the playlist below for everybody else that has contributed to this collaboration. There's some wonderful artists with some completely different ideas, and I love it when everybody comes together on a creepy, bloody Valentine. Okay, I'm going to give this a good cure under the light, and I'll be back when it's done. And then we'll add the finishing touch, and we'll call it a day. Now for the finishing touches. Okay, let's see. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here so you can see what I'm doing. Remember the Christmas tree topper? Well, I made two. And here's the other one. So we're going to attach this right to the top with a little bit of UV. And then I'll take some photos at the end, and
a dragon in a dress, oh what a sight, mixing
call
lace
this
and flowers late
dusted.
at night, crafting things unimaginable
If the
and
UV
grand,
doesn't work,
colors so
then we will
wild
use
by
super
her
glue.
own hand. Not a damsel in distress, she roars with pride, ideas from edges where her melody hides, bloody body parts in her latest design, inspiration strikes without a borderline. She's the crafter of dreams, both weird and wild, in a world where chaos is more than mild. From thread to bone in her magic spire, her eclectic work set the heart on fire. Every day she wakes with a brand new thought, in a garden where the ordinary is not, twisting reality with every stitch and tie, a dragon's heart and an artist's eye.
I hope you've enjoyed this video today, and maybe you'll try something kind of gory and creepy and cool yourself.
Beauty from a chaotic
With that being said, I want to thank you all for joining me today, and if you can make one person laugh or smile every day, then your day has been worthwhile, and just doing this made me smile. You just don't know. It's cool, it's creepy, it's
She's
mean.
the crafter of dreams, both weird
thank you guys for joining me, and you guys have a bloody Valentine.
From thread to bone in her magic spire, her eclectic work set the heart on fire. She's the crafter of dreams, both weird and wild, in a world where chaos is more than mild. From thread to bone in her